am learning. I do learn slowly but surely. Spawning on the bottom left-hand side here on Neo Planet S. He's an extremely strong Masters Protoss player, and I'm excited to have him here on the Coffee Cast once again. He is going to be the purple Protoss player. In fact, he demands to be purple every time we play, and it's hilarious. It's hilarious, because sometimes he doesn't get purple, and he gets really upset. It is going to be Impulses Pure as our purple Protoss player. Once again, down at that 7 o'clock here on Neo Planet S. We saw him just a game or two ago here. He's the red Zerg player on the top right-hand side. Don't mind my Rinvate versus Protoss. Yeah, I think he knows I was mentioning it before the game here. We have Akuji as our red Zerg player in that 2 o'clock position. Once again here on Neo Planet S. Yeah, yeah, he knows. He knows I was talking about it. So Akuji, we saw in that last game, as we saw in the last game that he played, he went for a very, very quick third base here. And I mean, like, I'm talking like Wings of Liberty third base, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So, Pure did see that game, by the way. He was in the chat, and I saw him talking about that. Pure, I guarantee you, will be looking for that, and will be looking to punish that if Akuji does decide to do that once again. So Akuji going to need to keep an eye on Pure. Make sure he doesn't see a big gateway timing aggression coming out across the map. Pure going to be going for the gateway expand. Excuse me. Neo Planet S. Oh gosh, Zuka man. I saw the word muted over in my chat and went, ah! Oh goodness. Oh Akuji, we aren't accusing you of cheating. I'm gonna laugh if he responds to that. Anyways, so I think that Neo Planet S is actually one of the few maps that you really still can go for a Forge fast expand on, because this is just, I think it's a pylon and you know, pylon, Forge gateway, and maybe another pylon down here or something like that. It's some not full, not weird wall off. I guess I should say, it's not like there's multiple attack angles like on Akalon Waste. That's what I'm trying to get at. I just didn't say it very elegantly because I don't brain tonight. But Pure is going to be sticking with what he liked, which is going to be that gateway expand. I expect it to be a zealot stalker out of him and moving out across the map, see if he can maybe kill off a queen or something. We're rapidly approaching that 4:30 mark, but once again, we need to keep an eye on that third base. It looks like a few Zerglings coming out across the map. Going to be gaining a little bit of map control here. I'm always a big fan of that. Not going to be taking the early geyser this game, though. Where's that Battlefield Bank? My goodness, this is only game 3 for the night, and I'm already getting the games mixed up, you guys. This is quite an interesting night already. Pylon going down at that front wall here, and Pure needs to make sure not to forget his Forge. It's one thing that a lot of Protoss players like to try to cut is that Forge, which I'm going to be honest, I just do not like when Protoss players try to do that. It's like when you try to cut the sentry out in Protoss versus Protoss when you're doing a Dark Templar rush. You really just have to have that sentry, because if you don't, and your opponent does like a 3-stalker rush, you're just dead. I mean, plain flat out. It looks like there is not going to be a super fast third base this time from Akuji. So I don't know if somebody talked to him or if he just kind of realized that maybe I shouldn't do that again here. Then I don't know. Either way, Akuji probably making the right play call. There's the Forge coming in now for Impulses. Pure has the probe there to finish the wall off. Kind of a weak spot in the wall right down here on this pylon, though. I don't know if that could be abused later or not. I didn't know no Forge like this. Yeah, no Forge is, once again, it's semi-safe. You can do the gateway opening, but you really want to get that Forge down, especially if you can't get like perfect scouting off, because if your opponent does something like a 5-roach rush or some sort of really aggressive Zergling, Baneling, or Roach attack, then you can find yourself in a world of hurt really fast without another cannon or two back to defend, because quite honestly, you just cannot get the gateway account out that you really do need. So we do have a natural expansion and established for both of these players now. Third base can be coming pretty much any time now for Akuji, unless he's looking to do some big 2-base timing attack. And something that we've even been seeing some players do is 2-base lair into Infestation Pit into super fast hive. But I don't expect to see that because we do not have the double evolution chamber down on the map, nor I guess do we have the gases down at the natural. In fact, currently just sitting on one gas, the Roach Warren on the way. In fact, the lair not even started yet, just getting out another queen here. So going to be going up to 4 total queens. I actually really like this. I think gasless play by Zerg is something that's maybe a little bit uncommon, but I think it has a good potential. It allows you to get a lot of mineral, pretty much just a lot of mineral units out. You use the queens to defend, you can use the zerglings for map control, and I mean, yeah, you know, you want a little bit of gas so you can start your upgrades, you can, you know, maybe get your roach warren down just in case you see a big attack coming, but for the most part, you can get your economy going so much faster if you go for this gasless style that we're seeing out of Akuji. I really like seeing this. The scouting overlord, he's going to be able to come in here. He's not going to see too much uncommon here, just the wall off, and I believe he did see this robotics facility as well. Where's Akuji? Yes, he did. So he pretty much got all the information that he could ever want. He also saw that there were no third and fourth gases down at the natural expansion zone. Needs to kind of keep an eye to make sure some big timing attack is not coming, which, we have 4 additional gateways coming on the map for a total of 6 gateways and a robo. This is just kind of screaming timing attack to me, because to take a safe third base as a Protoss player, you really only need 4 gateways and the robot to start pumping out immortals. And yep, Akuji knows this as well. He's going to be laying down maybe a bit of an overreaction in spine crawlers. That is going to be 6 total spine crawlers here, and I don't know. I don't really like the positioning on these alleys, but I think that he's just going to turtle up on 2 bases for a little bit of time here. He does have all 4 of his gases working now, has the Spire coming out on the field. Might be going for a Mulus transition, which I think might be alright here. I guess against the robotics, it's a pretty decent transition. But just Twilight Council with Blink could pretty much shut that down. Then again, there's also no Stargate on the map either, which could be quite a problem. All these gateways are finished, not turning those into warp gates quite yet. Might want to get on top of that. There we go, all those now aren't turning into warp gates. Just a little bit late on that. I don't know if he's planning on doing any big warp-ins. And there is the Warp Prism. He's going to be going out across the map. I don't know if Pure has scouted. Yes, he has. He's actually seen all of these spine crawlers. So the Warp Prism is the perfect counter to that. I'm really glad to see that coming out on the field. Just going to be able to completely circumvent the defenses there. This, by the way, is a very nice little wall off here. With these 3 sentries here, there's no way those Zerglings are ever going to be getting through that wall, especially with the warping capabilities of Pure right now with those 6 gateways. This third base, though, that ain't going to survive. That is going to have to be canceled. There's just too many Zerglings there right now. That Warp Prism kind of flying out around the middle of the map. Not quite certain what he wants to do. And there we go. Stargate coming down on the field now, right next to that robotics facility. And if he can start pumping out some he doesn't have an OV there. Just what? Oh, I think he's trying to say stream cheating, but I mean, I'm not even going to go into this argument right now. I think that was a perfectly legitimate time to come out and try that out there, and you know, check for a third base. I didn't see anything. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't know what Pure's problem is. We do have 13 Mulists coming out onto the field now. Twilight Council now coming down as well. Does Pure know something that we don't know? I think that he just kind of generally knows the timing. He saw the lair going down at some point in time a little while ago, and he has something clicked over there. I think that Warp Prism has actually rallied over to that kind of location. No, I don't know what was clicked over there. There it is. It's the hallucinated Phoenix that's going to be going straight into the main base and getting a little bit of scout off. But surprise, surprise, we have a bunch of Mulists coming out on the field. And I don't think Pure is actually going to be surprised at all by this transition. Phoenix is going to start coming out on the field as well as Blink, but that's a lot of Mulists coming out across the map right freaking now. 1 cannon is down in that mineral line, but is it going to be enough? Where are the units for Pure with that Guardian Shield? They're actually over at the third base, so this sentries with the Guardian Shield capabilities out of position, no Stalkers back home to defend, and really not that many resources. Only has enough to warp in 1 and now just about now 2 Stalkers here versus 13 Mules. We do have 2 Phoenixes out on the field. Is it going to be enough? Photon overcharge going down on both of the next side, and now these Phoenixes, oh man, there's actually going to be a Zergling aggression going over towards that third base as well. 3 Stalkers are being warped in. The Zergling is cleaned up. There are a lot of Mules, but I think this is going to be cleaned up as well. These 2 Phoenixes doing so much damage. A third one joining the fray there. 1 Phoenix going to go down, but a lot of Mules have died as well. Here comes some more Zerglings coming over towards that third base, though. 1 Immortal does fall down, which is going to make that mid-game army just a little bit weaker. Zealous being warped in as well to help out, but I don't really think that's necessary. The Mulus threat for the moment has been repelled. In the meantime, Akuji going to be spreading his creep across the northern side of the map here. I love that he's doing this because you really, I mean, with Pure extending to the east here, you really don't want to take this base. It's so easy to take that out. So I think Akuji is looking more to start taking the base along the top side here. And of course, these middle bases are just about as worthless as ever here. These Mutalisks are now flying over in position, going to be coming back over into the, the natural expansion here. There's no cannon, and Blink is not yet done. And again, not that many resources to try to re-macro some Stalkers over here to be able to take this out. A couple of Phoenixes do fly over, and with the addition of these Stalkers, that might be enough, but a lot of probes are going down right here. In fact, so many probes are going to be dying right now. And now Pure finally pulling his army back, but 21 workers have been killed by Akuji, and that number is continuing to increase. It looks like Anion Pulse Crystals now finishing up. That is going to be that Phoenix range upgrade there. Mules have just done so much damage on it. If I can take a quick peek back over that Harvester tab, 67 for our Zerg player, only 24 for Impulse Pure. This is not looking too hot this time around for Impulse Pure. And you can say, yeah, Akuji's losing all these Mules, but I think at this point he really doesn't care because he's just looking to kill off all of the workers as humanly possible. Supplies are fairly even, so that means that technically Pure does have the vastly greater army, but just look at that income tab, 2,500 to just 880 and 0. Pure does at least have this third base. He didn't lose any of his Nexi in that attack, but he's still so far behind in economy. I just don't know if he can come back without mules. Terran. Some of those are being warped in and thrown over into that third base. I like that there's this little bit of counter aggression out of Impulse's Pure here, and he might actually be able to do a little bit of damage over here, but no, he knows that those eggs are going to be containing some sort of fighting unit, and with 3 queens over here, just does not want to risk losing these units that, once again, he really cannot afford to lose. We do have Hydralisks out on the field as well now for Akuji. That's just going to put him in an even better position. +1 missile attacks coming on the field. Groove Spines, Carapace, everything all at once. There is 1-1 for Pure right now, which is going to give him a nice little upgrade advantage over Akuji. That is the one advantage that he does maintain here, and just a little bit of a supply advantage for that army supply there. But at any point in time, Akuji, he has 11 larvae saved up and a little bit of a bank as well. So if he needs to get some units out on the map, he can get those units out on the map pretty much at any point in time here. Going to be taking a 4th base, expanding down to the south. I guess I was a little bit wrong with saying that he might be expanding towards the north side. But that being said, he's done so much damage to Impulse Pure. I think he feels a little bit safer and a little bit more capable to take maybe a somewhat riskier base over in that direction. I would love to see some creep spread going down in that direction though, just to make sure that he can properly reinforce that base if he so desires. Pure has not caught wind of this 4th base quite yet though. Mothership Core being remacroed, as well as a bunch of sentries and that robotics bay. Sentries with this Gateway army going to be necessary to help keep back those Hydralisks and get that Guardian Shield up, which helps so much against the Hydralisks as well. And it keeps them and helps keep them away from the Colossus, which is what you really need to do. Pure going to be running over here to this 4th base. He's going to scout that out, and he is going to be able to probably kill that off, because once again, the creep not connecting these bases, kind of a big deal. The Roach are going to take quite a bit of time to be able to get over here, and these Stalkers do have Blink, so they can stay in here until the very last second. Oh, not going to quite be able to get that, but yeah, I guarantee you guys, he will be back now, getting surrounded by those Zerglings. And oh, this is actually kind of a bad position here for Pure. The Blink's still on cooldown. These Speedlings, we're going to be able to catch up to them and get the surround there. And a lot of these Stalkers probably going to go down. The army of Pure actually running further away from these Stalkers. He needs to go in there and try to save those. He does not have the money to lose those. More Stalkers being warped in, and there we go. Finally going to be able to get forward and take out some of the Zerglings, or at least repel them. But only 3 Stalkers survived that attack, and the 4th base still up and running. Now, our Zerg player is maxed out. It is the 18-minute mark right now after so many engagements. Finally getting to that maxed up point. Only 3 sentries on the field. That is not going to be enough. I think Akuji started pulling back and then went, oh, that's all there is, and I can push this. And he's going to be pushing it indeed. Going straight into the gut of Pure there. The sentry's pretty much out of energy. I think there's enough for 2 more force shields, and that is just not going to be enough. 2 more go down there, but that's not even going to waylay the army. Pure getting backed up into a corner here. That is not going to be a good position for him at all. More units coming out across the map. That is more Hydralisks with those muscular augments, and going straight for that natural expansion. The +2 weapons, it is going to be canceled. That first Colossus is coming out, but I think it's going to be a little bit too little, too late. That Gateway going to fall as well, and Pure is starting to slowly get whittled down here. One of the Phoenixes gets picked off out of position there. Another one going to go down. A 3rd one going to die. And I think this last one's going to be picked up as well. And yes, indeed it is. Looks like Pure might be able to... Oh, never mind. He's just going to get surrounded completely. I was going to say might be able to pick off some reinforcing units. But there is the GG for Impulse's Pure. And Akuji going to display a nice little bit of Mutalisk harassment, do a lot of damage to the economy, and come back and be able to win as he transitions into the late game into that Hive Tech.